We know you've been counting down the days until Season 2 of I Hate Suzie finally comes out right in time for the holiday, just so we can indulge in some of the rebellious stuff we've been craving. And with a newly released first look, we're even more excited to see what Billie Piper looks like back in her character. So let's look at what we know so far. First off, one of the darker Christmas comedies. Billie is back on the show to reclaim her role as the actress named Suzie Pickles. And with a first look photographed already here for us, we've got some super exciting insight into the character's brand new profession. This season, she's returning to the British public, and if she wants to make it through, she must begin again by dancing for likes on the fictitious reality TV show Dance Crazee. In an image from the 3-part Christmas special, it's pretty evident how anti-Christmas the show is going to be, especially in contrast to all the nice feel-good stuff that's usually being released around that time of the year. What's more is that in the newly released photo, the actress can be seen wearing a clown outfit and matching makeup, with a stark white foundation and dramatic smoky eyes, paired with a dark lip color. And well, you guys can probably tell that she doesn't look too happy about any of it. Looking back, the show premiered in 2020 and was co-founded and executive produced by Billie as well as Lucy Preble. The premise follows the legendary actress as she deals with a major violation of privacy in her life. Suzie's life is flipped upside down when incriminating images are stolen from her phone and widely distributed, upsetting her marriage and job in the process. Her character goes through slut-shaming, trauma, and healing while in the public eye in the 8-episode-long first season, with the show giving some excruciatingly honest comments on being a woman and gender biases. Coming up, her brilliant source of inspiration. In a way, she had a vision for the second season, and she achieved it pretty seamlessly with her unique approach. She wanted to show us all the other side of being a famous figure in society. She wanted us to see everything that was hidden from the cameras. At the beginning of the second season, she mentioned how the creators had a lot of talks about Britney Spears, Caroline Flack, and Amy Winehouse, and they walked along the lines of these kind of horrific tragedies. They wanted to observe how being famous affected these celebrities and in what ways were these impacts caused by the people around them. She later wanted to address these situations, asking questions about whether these sorts of consequences would be unavoidable if you pursued that journey. A lot of us may have felt that once someone becomes a celebrity, they're already signed up to give up on their privacy, but that's the kind of thinking that the show stands up against. Instead of thinking that we're entitled to them and their time, respecting them as fellow human beings is what matters. Preble felt that the public is often brought to these stories at their lowest point, and photos of female stars going through personal troubles are used to portray them as being pretty terrible or hideous or, more commonly, mad. According to the writer, the concept of craziness is threaded throughout the program, and not in a bad way. Moving on, the outrage serves a point. We all know how women are never taken seriously, especially when they're mad at something. Whenever a woman chooses to express her negative emotions and rage, she's given nicknames called crazy, or most commonly, asked if she's on her period. Preble pointed this out and then talked about how interesting it is that an entire culture considers this sort of behavior crazy and unhinged, but nobody ever tries to see what lies behind this rage. Obviously, it's not like women just got up one day and decided to be angry for no reason, but looking at the cause behind how somebody acts and behaves would help everybody understand society better, which is why the two chose this as a theme for their show. They wanted to explore an aspect that has never been talked about enough, and since the industry is already so saturated with repetitive things, they wanted to shed light on a subject that people shy away from. She further elaborated on this phenomenon by using her character as an example, as she mentioned the fact that Suzie was seen having a breakdown, and many people might have found it interesting, but since people sat and watched through her entire journey, most people would have felt that her reaction was justified. So hold that thought. That's exactly what they're trying to tell us, that we'd be considering everybody's backgrounds before judging their craziness, because sometimes it makes total sense. Up next, is Suzie anything like Piper? Considering how the main theme of the show revolves around celebrities, and the fact that the showmakers are celebrities themselves, you might be wondering if they took any of their personal experiences into account when formulating the character. If we look back at Billie's past, she's been famous for over 2 decades now. Her art turned her into a person that everybody knew back in 1998 when she first released her pop single titled Because We Want To. And because this newly acquired fame was so sudden, it probably hit her pretty hard, which is why she talks about a side to the entertainment world that no one sees. Her career shifted towards acting when she joined the Doctor Who reboot as Rose Tyler in 2005, after which she also became a writer and a director. But that's about all the similarities that she has with her character. Still, in many ways, she wanted to be more like Suzie. We all know how terrible she is at making decisions, and none of us would want that for ourselves. But Piper loves her consistency in doing things the wrong way. It's almost as though the character character has no regard for consequences, which is something we all wish for sometimes, just to stop worrying and enjoy ourselves while living in the moment. She mentioned how playing the character is very fun for her because she can pretend to be the kind of complex personality who's all over the place while also being a little bit of a monster. Finally, the beautiful portrayal of motherhood. Complex personalities are an entirely different topic, but when it comes to being a mother, Piper has a great inclination towards what the dynamic has to add to her characters. She had a generational performance as Yerma, who was tragically barren in Simon Stone's adaptation of Federico Garcia Lorca's play of the same name in 2016. After that, in both Rare Beasts and I Hate Suzie, she was playing the roles of working mothers who were simultaneously dealing with the difficulties that come with the job. She talked about how she found it very intriguing to represent this dynamic in her work because it was so difficult to get through. It's something that makes women wonder about their moms and family dynamics. There are greater questions about why women want to have children now. Are you having a child to fulfill a personal need because you're lonesome, or is it because you have to stop going out? Or does it stem from the fact that you had a difficult childhood? It's no longer as straightforward as it once was, but this is exactly what she wants you to do. She wants you to reflect on the reasons why one thing exists the way it does. In the earlier days, having a kid was seen as an expectation, but people are now aware of the fact that it's a choice that needs to be thought through. Now, moving on to other related news, to start, her words about her disastrous 5-year marriage. She describes her booze-fueled married life with DJ Chris Evans as being intoxicated for 5 years with an old man. When she ventured into acting after her music career flopped, the ex-child star claimed that she had a lot of baggage to deal with, considering how she had gotten married to Evans in 2001, at which point she had only been 18. In an interview with The Guardian, she talked about how a bunch of it was simply tabloid material. Rather than being perceived as an ex-pop star, she felt that it was more like her being perceived as a pop star and then being taken advantage of for 5 years by an elderly man. She believed that this was the lasting impression whenever she walked into an audition room, which is why things weren't working out at the time. Up next, Piper had been very jealous of Spears. She claimed that she had never met Spears, even though they were both music sensations in 2000. Her career was dying away when the star was turning into a megastar, and considering how young they'd been, there was bound to be a lot of competition. She was tremendously jealous of Britney, but she also loved and admired her, even though their paths never crossed. Talking along these lines, she described fame as terrible when reflecting on how it's depicted in her most recent show. When asked why she stays doing a profession that keeps her in the spotlight, she said that it does irritate her, but she still enjoys making stuff and producing things from scratch. Finally, will Doctor Who's 60th anniversary continue the tradition? With the reappearance of Billie Piper as The Moment in the 50th anniversary special of the show, one prominent partner from the Russell T. Davies period has been missing, Freema Agyeman playing Martha Jones. She debuted as Adiola in the 12th episode of the season 2 titled Army of Ghosts. Her performance impressed the producers so much that she was finally cast as a full-time partner in season 3 back in 2007. She met the Doctor at a hospital while in medical school and began her adventures with him from there. This is why we're sad that we're not going to be able to see her return, because we were all waiting for the nostalgia trip to go crazy this time. Well, guess we can wait till the next decade now. And that's a wrap, folks. What do you think about Piper's return to her character? Tell us in the comments below. And as always, make sure to click that like button and subscribe to our channel so you never miss out on more updates about your favorite stars. See you in the next video.